The brief was very simple. First of all, evaluate our current business model in view of those concerns being raised by the industry. And secondly, explore what's happening outside ACSA, outside South Africa, in terms of the best practices and other airport authorities around the world. And finally, devise a model that will work for us, for ACSA's challenges and for ACSA's circumstances. And at the end of that project, there were very interesting, learnings that came out and results that came out of that survey. That survey involved traveling around the world in various airport regions around the world. It also involved designing a survey and the respondents in that survey were the industry in terms of the brands that actually spend the money. The second layer were the media agencies that are very instrumental in deciding where the spend goes. But it was also creative agencies that create the work that lives on those platforms. And finally, we had a conversation with our current customers who are our media agencies as well as brands are already spending, just to get a sense of what their needs were, what their requirements are, what their trends were, what is it that we were missing as ACSA, what is it that they were missing as an industry as a result of how we were structured. And I must say that what came out of that was very enlightening and very challenging for us in terms of being able to deal with it, because there was so much. We needed to be able to sift through the information, make a decision and prioritize about where we were going to start. The airport environment has always been thought of as very premium, very high-end, focusing on the top end of the consumer universe. And what we were failing to do as ACSA was to promote it as such. There was very little that we were doing to highlight the attractiveness of this medium to both brands and media agencies. So the airport value proposition was not clear. Brands were saying airports are expensive, but we don't see the value because we've allowed a lot of people to operate at the airports. We've increased the number of advertisements. At Tambo is the worst case, where you've got just too many adverts and too many messages and too many boards. And that was devaluing, the message in a way. And brands were saying, we want to be at the airport because the airport makes sense at so many levels. However, the ability to achieve stand out as a brand at the airport was becoming, increasingly more difficult. So we needed to do something. And then finally, we as ACSA had always played a passive role in the discussion. So we've never really interacted with the industry. What we would do, we'll grant a concession and allow someone to sell the space without necessarily providing the value add that makes the space valuable and useful and more saleable to the ultimate user, which is the brand. So we took the brand, the industry was saying, talk to us, see how you can fortify the space in terms of the information, the research, the insights, the data, that will make it easy for us to understand how to best utilize the medium. We've been operating in a multi-concessionaire environment where at one airport you probably have 20, 30, sometimes 40 different media intermediaries who are selling space on our behalf. So the change is that we are moving from a multi-concessionaire environment to a limited concessionaire environment. We say limited because what's going to happen, there are 4 business units within ACSA. Each of the 4 business units will now have only 3 concessions for advertising. So our Tambo is a business unit, and what will happen going forward is that we will have only 3 concessionaires. By way of comparison, it's 3 versus 19. And we think that's going to simplify the process of buying media and the conversations we're going to have with the brands and the media buyers. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that in each airport, we'll then separate between outdoor and indoor. So the one concession will be for all of outdoor at each airport, and then there will be all of indoor within each airport. And indoor includes both static and digital, as well as all of the experiential space. So those are the 3 zones that we're going to create inside each airport. And what that does as well, it creates an area of specialization within the team and outside the team. So if a media company is strong in the outdoor, big impact sites, they have an opportunity now to provide to us or propose to us a solution or a bid that is going to be focused and specializing on that. Similarly with indoor, we're going to get a company that focuses on more interactive, where we're utilizing dwell time and providing more information and more content to the passengers. In the experiential space, we all know that experiential or activation, as some people call it, is that it's a very specialized area. And what we allow is an opportunity for a bidder to come in and provide us with a activation solution that will actually be able to address or actually exploit opportunities that exist in that space. So that's essentially what the change is about.